In March of 2020, just when the COVID pandemic was forcing the closure of our entire society, save for grocery and liquor stores, this campus, Westminster Choir College, met its demise. Blunt words, but all too true. The students were sent home, never to return, a sad end not to the college itself, which was being moved 5 miles away to another campus, but to these buildings, this quad, this emblem of man's desire to venerate our Creator through music. Founded in 1926, Westminster Choir had built its reputation on the premise that no matter how modern culture gets, how secularized its values, how twisted its zeitgeist by trifles, it would always have an ear for the sacred. That is, the masses, the spirituals, the hymns and the chants performed by college students to whom music was more than just a major, it was a vocation. Bringing the song of the spheres to earth. That's what this campus was built for. How ironic that it fell prey to the antithesis of all art, legal wranglings of a Byzantine complexity, motions, injunctions, and procedural maneuvers that turned this 23-acre property into a fault line between rival litigants. The fact that it fell right in the heart of Princeton, meaning millions of dollars were at stake. And to think it all began in 1933 on a much more benign note, with a widowed dowager in Ohio, a pious Presbyterian heiress, she of the 4 stately names, Sophia Elizabeth Strong Taylor, simply wanting to use her wealth to spread God's word through that medium divine, the human voice. What you see around me are the fruits of her generosity. She bought this land and bankrolled these buildings. Her only 2 stipulations, as foundress, was that the students spend 1 hour a week studying the Bible according to the principles of her Presbyterian religion, a minor ask in 1930s America. And here's the kicker, that should this campus ever cease to be used for its intended mission, every acre of it should pass into the hands of the Princeton Theological Seminary. For 60 years, Westminster Choir stood at the forefront of choral excellence, its name renowned all over the world. From its halls rose voices honed with devotion, shaped by master teachers who treated the human instrument with both rigor and reverence. And then at the beginning of the 1990s, the school fell on hard times and verged on closing. Like a deus ex machina, Rider University stepped in and assumed its debts, absorbing its name beneath the Rider masthead and prolonging its life for another 25 years. And here we come to the legal morass in which all parties sank. When Rider purchased Westminster in 1992, it was a 3-way deal. Rider and the Theological Seminary agreeing that Rider would own the college outright and no longer be bound by the terms of Widow Taylor's bequest. The seminary yielded at one point, a possible deal breaker to smooth the union of the 2 colleges. Both parties acknowledged that one day Rider might need to sell the campus, and both agreed that as long as Rider set aside 50% of the proceeds toward endowing a new Westminster Choir College, wherever that may be, the sale could go forth. Fast forward to 2020 when Rider closed the campus during the height of the pandemic and moved the students, professors, music library, and even a pipe organ down to Lawrenceville, asking a judge for permission to sell the property to the highest bidder. The Theological Seminary said not so fast, arguing in court with the legal equivalent of a Hail Mary pass, that because the original agreement between Westminster itself and Rider was never approved by a judge, but merely sealed with a handshake and ribbon-cutting ceremony, the original understanding was void, and the seminary was still entitled to the property per the terms of the Taylor grant. The court ruled in favor of the seminary, the biblical precept, "To those who have, more will be given," fulfilled to the tune of $29 million upon the property's sale to the borough of Princeton. Ryder's take in the end, a paltry $13 million. Perhaps the most aggrieved people in this whole affair were the Westminster alumni, generations of whom remain devoted to their alma mater and devoted to this campus. Bitter was their acrimony when Ryder decided to sell, a mere 4 years after the grand opening of the Cullen Center, a state-of-the-art performance hall the alumni had spent years raising the funds for, wholly unaware of Ryder's intent to sell. To see this legacy, meant to propel Westminster into the 21st century, become a real estate listing was too much to bear, their sense of betrayal igniting a campaign of resistance. The same effort, the same passion that went into this beautiful hall was now dedicated to convincing a judge that their cherished campus should stay in Princeton. I witnessed this whole saga firsthand from 2018 to 2022, the 4 years I worked for Ryder doing maintenance on this campus. I was the guy who unclogged shower drains, changed fluorescent bulbs, and fixed the latches on doors. I saw everything from gushing toilets flooding dormitory bathrooms to water main breaks in February, making an icy mess outside Bristol Chapel. With my jangling ring of keys, I had access to every square inch of this campus, from the basement boiler room in Williamson Hall to its highest point, the clock tower, its circular window overlooking Bristol Chapel. I knew of the secret nook where the time capsule was kept, not to be opened until May of 2043. I saw the seasons revolve with majestic splendor, the blowing snows of winter, the budding branches of spring, the blindingly hot days of August, and the crisp afternoons of October. And during it all, I saw Westminster go through 3 very distinct phases, each a reflection of just how turbulent those times were. I saw it in 2019 when the school, outwardly at least, was thriving. Its choir over 100 voices strong, its schedule jam-packed with performances booked at the most prestigious venues in the world. Then in 2020, I saw it valiantly try to sustain its reputation, even as the news broke that the campus was closing at the end of the year and the college moving to Lawrenceville. When COVID hit, the students were given 2 days to bug out. A final year became a final week. Friendships forged in song were reduced to hurried embraces in parking lots. The campus that had always rung with voices, pianos, and rehearsal schedules fell abruptly silent. And for a community whose identity was rooted in music, the suddenness of it all felt especially cruel, as though the final movement had been cut short with the conductor still waving his baton. And then for 2 years, there was just me. Me, a supervisor, 2 custodians, and a security guard. A skeletal crew fated to wander an empty campus like the survivors of an apocalypse. Or, in quieter moments, like monks tending a deserted abbey. I've let these memories sit for 4 years and finally felt inspired to sum up, in my own little way, the spirit of this place, still lingering in the notes of every bird in a tree, on a rooftop, or even a lamppost, filling the air with its full-throated song. It brings back memories, like this one in particular. April 11th, 2019. I am in my first year working here and attending a performance of Mozart's Requiem at the Kimmel Center in Philadelphia. It is a favorite of mine, and actually the third time I've seen it live, the first in 1999 at the Church of St. Agnes in Manhattan, where it was performed as an actual Mass for a real deceased person, complete with the sacrament for Catholics. Who can doubt that Mozart, not a fervent believer by any stretch, was channeling God's grace when he composed his Requiem? And if you can excuse my shaky camera, my clumsy zooms in and out, you will enjoy the Westminster Choir in all its former glory. I took that photo of the praying mantis on the doors of Williamson Hall and saw it as a sign that the spirit of Westminster endures even as its buildings do not. Whatever outcome the borough of Princeton decides for this property, whether razing everything to the ground and starting anew, or trying to salvage at least the Cullen Center, I would like to remind anyone watching this video of one thing, that Westminster Choir still exists. Its students, though diminished in number, as passionate about their art as any students can be. I watch them perform whenever I can, at the Basilica of Saints Peter and Paul in Philadelphia, at Nassau Presbyterian Church with an early Baroque ensemble, and at Trinity Church in Princeton, where they sang liturgical music under the title Evensong. I find consolation, as I'm sure Sophia Elizabeth Strong Taylor would if she were here today, in the words from the Gospel, "Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will never pass away."